Good evening. Your Excellencies, Ambassador Derwin, Ambassador He, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Caroline Devlin, Chair of the Ireland-China Business Association, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you here this evening to Kylemore Abbey for what promises to be a magical musical evening. It's been a difficult year for everyone, and particularly the arts have suffered. So we are delighted, as are our sponsors here this evening, to support this beautiful evening and to give you all some joy and a chance to sit back and relax. In particular, I'd like to thank WuXi Biologics, BNP Paribas and Huawei, those are our sponsors, and also our partners here, Kylemore Abbey, of course, with the beautiful surroundings, together with Tourism Ireland and Ballinhinch, and of course the Dublin International Piano Competition. And we'll see the fruits of some of that competition here this evening. So without any further ado, I'd like to tell you to sit back and hand you over now to the ambassadors, who are both going to give us a kind address, and then we will begin our evening. Thank you. Xie xie.
Warmest greetings from Beijing. 大家好. It is wonderful to be a part of this extraordinary event, and a special thanks to the ICBA for bringing it all together. I have no doubt that it will be a marvellous success, featuring the world-famous pianist John O'Connor, who will duet with Joe O'Grady, and taking place as it is in Kylemore Abbey, such a beautiful historical setting on the Wild Atlantic Way. Since taking up my post in January this year, I've been deeply impressed by the range and depth of the links between Ireland and China. Today, Ireland and China have more to offer each other than ever before, and every year we see the mutual benefit of our collaboration. With growth in our political, economic, educational and cultural connections, I am filled with a sense of hope and expectation for further growth and expansion of the China-Ireland people-to-people relationships. I would like to wish you all an enjoyable evening and look forward to watching what promises to be a fantastic cultural experience for Irish and Chinese audiences alike. Thank you. Xie xie.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to join you on Zoom to attend this music event. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Ireland-China Business Association and the two pianists, Mr. O'Connor and Mr. O'Grady, for bringing us together. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, social distancing and quarantine measures have been kept us physically apart, but our hearts have got closer with each other. Music plays a very important role in boosting our morale while fighting. I wish everyone here a peaceful and cheerful evening, and the confidence that we will emerge stronger from the pandemic. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Brendan Mcgrath. I'm the site head of the Chinese company WuXi Biologics Ireland, which is under construction in Dundalk, County Louth. We were delighted to be asked to support this very prestigious event in Kylemore Abbey by the ICBA. As you'll see from the short music clips, the music of both John O'Connor and Joe O'Grady is absolutely world class. And I hope you enjoy the clips, and looking forward to being able to participate in these events in person in the future when we see an easing of restrictions. So please enjoy the clips and stay safe and talk soon.
Hi everyone, my name is Tony Young. I'm the CEO of Huawei Ireland. I moved over to Ireland last spring and have experienced many warm and creative cultural experiences here in Ireland. I have been fortunate to witness the great Irish sport hurling, and today Huawei is delighted to support this exciting culture event hosted by the ICBA. We always say that music knows no boundary between nations. The beauty of music touches the bottom of our hearts likewise. Among all sorts of instruments and music, the sound of piano is one of the most close one to human utterances. Thus, I'm very much looking forward to hearing what our two outstanding pianists want to tell us tonight. Huawei is pleased to support art and culture links. Many thanks to the ICBA for inviting us to this beautiful music night. We think of one Chinese saying that the echo of perfect music hangs over the rooftop for a long period. Hope tonight would also be enduring in your memory as well. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Niall Gibbons, the Chief Executive of Tourism Ireland, and we are the agency that markets Ireland abroad as a tourism destination. I'm delighted that we are sponsoring this year's Ireland-China Business Association Summer Recital, and I'm thrilled to see my good friend John O'Connor and also the excellent Joe O'Grady performing today. We'll be streaming this on our social media channels in China to over 1 million people. China is a really important tourism market for Ireland, and post-pandemic we look forward to the day where we can throw open the doors, roll out the green carpet and give a great welcome to Chinese visitors. But for now, we're communicating in the language that we all understand, music. I wish you all well. I look forward to seeing you all again in real life very, very soon. 谢谢.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, for your words of welcome for us this evening. And I'm delighted to be standing here with John O'Connor and Joe O'Grady for what promises to be a magical evening of music in front of us this evening. John, of course, needs no introduction, a world-renowned pianist, but I will say one or two words. And I know, of course, you'll have had the opportunity to see his many highlights of his glittering career on the invitation for our evening this evening. But one or two things I'd like to mention. John, of course, essentially started his wonderful career by winning an excellent Beethoven competition in his early 20s. And I think this has really launched him. And of course, the lifelong love of Beethoven, not least of which because his musical pedigree, of course, and his tutelage is very directly related to Beethoven all the way down, and indeed beforehand, I think, for that, John. But I think it's wonderful to say for John that he really does give back, of course, to music also. And I think it's his work, particularly in the Dublin International Piano Competition, that really is noteworthy and really provides a platform for excellent and young pianists to come forward. And for this, we thank you very much. Also with us here, we have Joe O'Grady here this evening. Joe, if he doesn't mind me saying so, is a mere 15. And you really won't believe that when you hear his wonderful talent here in front of you this evening. He started piano at age 3. I think won his first competition at age 5 and has won everything in front of him since then. And you will have no doubt as to why that is. And equally, do follow him, because I'm quite sure he'll have a glittering career ahead of him too. So I think all that remains is to say sit back, relax and enjoy what promises to be a beautiful evening. And I'll hand you over to John. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you very much indeed. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here and to be involved in this cooperation between the Dublin International Piano Competition and the Ireland-China Business Association. China has been a great friend to me over the last number of years. I've been there many times, and in my position as chairman of the jury of the Dublin International Piano Competition, I've been able to invite many Chinese pianists to come and to compete in Dublin, and indeed one of my great friends, Dan Zhaoyi from Shenzhen, who is one of the most famous piano teachers in China, was on the jury of the last Dublin competition and is coming again next year, which is wonderful. I've been to China, gosh, I can't remember how many times, but I've been to Shanghai, Beijing, Xiamen, Guangzhou. I mean, if I mention all the cities and I forget one, somebody will get annoyed, so I won't name them all. But I've been just so lucky to go there. I love the food, and the tofu in Shenzhen is just incredible. Anyway, get back to the music and this evening, and we're here to celebrate the cooperation and also to celebrate music. And Beethoven is very special to me, because since I won the Beethoven competition in Vienna, I have recorded all of the sonatas and all of the concertos and all the rest of it. And I love passing on my love of Beethoven to all my students. You'll hear Joe later on. But in the meantime, I'm going to start this musical evening by playing Beethoven's famous Moonlight Sonata. It's just wonderful. There are 3 movements in it. The first movement is supposed to remind a famous Austrian poet of moonlight on Lake Geneva. And the second movement is rather like a dance, an intermezzo between the first movement and the last movement. And funnily enough, for a sonata that is called the Moonlight, the last movement is more like a hurricane. Well, after that, I'm now going to bow out for a little while and introduce you to one of my most talented students, and that's Joe O'Grady. Great to have you with me, Joe. Joe, I've been teaching since the age of 6. It's one of the great pleasures of being in music, is passing on what you've learned to the next generation, or to a couple of generations on. Certainly I'm far more advanced age than Joe is. Joe is, as they said, before 15. He was studying me from the age of 6, and at that stage he was about that height. Now, of course, he's much taller than me, so I almost have to be polite to him. Well, not always, but even still. But he's a joy to teach, and I think he's going to have a great future. And you're going to tell us a little bit of your background, because you are half Irish, half Chinese. I mean, the Irish bit, you were born in Dublin, fine. Did you get the Chinese bit? Your mother came from China?
Yeah, my mother came from China, northern China, from a city called Anshan. She grew up there, went to school, went to college, and then she moved to Ireland in 2000, where she met my dad. And
he swept her off her feet.
Yeah.
And they've been together ever since, yes. And do you speak some Chinese?
I don't speak a lot of Chinese. Sometimes I'm able to speak little phrases and stuff. Yes. When I was younger, I took classes, and I was a bit better, but I kind of run out of time because I have school and I have a lot of music to practice. So I've kind of dropped it a bit, but I will take it up again in the future. Good, you should. I think everybody should. I mean, I insisted my sons learn Irish so they can speak Gaelic, because I love the language, and I think you should speak Chinese because of your Chinese heritage. And you're going to play 3 pieces for us this evening. The first one is? The first piece is, it's called Summertime. It was originally a song written by Gershwin, yes, but it's been arranged into a piano piece. Yeah, it's great. It sounds really lovely. I love Porgy and Bess. I love that opera. In fact, I'm hoping to go and see it in New York later on this year. It's just one of my favorite things, and I think it's wonderful that you're playing this. Why particularly does it appeal to you? Well, it's jazz, and I've only played jazz once before this piece, yes, and I really enjoyed it, and I find jazz is different to most types of music, and it's always a pleasure to play. Yeah, and everybody loves it. Yeah. Okay, and the second piece is one of these slow pieces that's going to put people to sleep, yes? No, it isn't. It's a Chauffeur Etude, which is extremely fast and virtuosic, and it's very technically challenging. It is. Hopefully. And if you'll pardon the expression, you play the hell out of it. Yeah. But that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And the third piece? The third piece is Hungarian Rhapsody No. 6 by Liszt. It's a very virtuosic piece again, but sometimes it has sections which are heartfelt and emotional. Yes, particularly the gypsy-like central slower section. Yeah, it's Liszt showing off his technique, his musicianship, and his panache. And so I'm going to ask you to do the same here. Show us all your virtuosity and your panache.
Well, I think you'll have to agree that was pretty spectacular playing, and from a 15-year-old too, he has a great future. So Joe, thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. Now go away. As they say in Ireland, the great old expression, folly that. And it's very difficult for me. I mean, he's a few years younger than me, let's put it that way. But I'm going to finish with something which is something I rarely play, but it's great fun and people absolutely adore it. My great friend Ruth Burke said, you got to play that, I love hearing it. So I agreed and I've put it back into my repertoire, and they are 3 Argentinian dances by the Argentinian composer Alberto Ginastera. And they're called, the first one is called The Dance of the Herdsman, which is kind of interesting because the left hand plays the black notes and the right hand almost all the way through plays the white notes, and only sometimes is the left hand allowed to play the white notes. But it's beautifully written and great fun. And the second piece is called The Dance of the Young, let's say young lady. Somebody said to me, it might be somebody who likes to flirt a little, you never know. And the third one is The Dance of the Gaucho, or the Argentinian cowboy. And boy, does he dance. Wait till you hear it.
Well, thank you, everybody. It has been a joy and my absolute privilege to be here this evening in the beautiful surroundings of Kylemore Abbey to hear these wonderful recitals this evening. You know, this has been such a difficult period for the arts, and it's wonderful to do something which really supports the arts. And in that regard, I'd very much like to thank our sponsors, Wuxi Biologics, BNP, and Huawei. So thank you very much to our sponsors, and also our partners here this evening, the Dublin International Piano Competition, Ballinhinch Castle, and of course Kylemore Abbey and Tourism Ireland. Without all of your support, we couldn't have brought this to you, and we in the Ireland-China Business Association are delighted to do so. But of course, the real thanks of this evening go to our stars, John O'Connor and Joe O'Grady. Thank you so much for a beautiful evening. Thank you very much. Good night and goodbye.